What's happening? It's the CJ Pierce from Drowning Pool, and you listen to my weekly mixtape right here with Brian Colburn. Get you some.
Welcome to My Weekly Mixtape, a podcast that takes the classic mixtape approach to building a modern playlist. I'm your host, Brian Colburn. With this year's concert season heating up, I'm excited to kick off a new style of My Weekly Mixtape episode, and joining me for this inaugural discussion is the incredible CJ Pierce of Drowning Pool. CJ, welcome to the show, my friend.
Hey, what's happening, Brian? Thanks for having me.
Since this is your first time on My Weekly Mixtape, I'd like to start by asking you my first time guest question, which is, what does the word mixtape mean to you?
The word mixtape?
Yes, sir.
I was making mixtapes back in the day with my, I still have my cassette tapes, man, from back in the day. No, it's just, putting out your favorite songs on it back in the day, especially with me. I don't want to date it all, but it had albums and the cassette tapes came out. It was a new hot thing. But, your different favorite songs from your favorite bands, you put them all together on one tape. Or it's high school and you like some lady, like, hey, I made you this mixtape. Check out my jams. There you go.
Well, as I teased at the top of the episode, tonight's discussion is something I haven't done before, and I'm really excited to see where this leads, because during the playlist curation episodes of My Weekly Mixtape, guests and I build mixtapes or playlists based on that episode's band or theme. But tonight, we're taking a new spin on that, and while we're still talking kind of playlists, there's a twist. And CJ, that is, if I were to give you carte blanche to build your own set list for your ultimate concert featuring any bands, any songs, any eras, zero limitation.
Right.
That's what we're going to explore tonight. But before we do that, as someone who's been a part of putting together Drowning Pool's set lists night after night for the last several decades, what would you say the art of building the perfect concert set list is?
For us, man, as of late, the last few years, especially at Ryan McComb's back in the band, we're kind of taking more the Grateful Dead approach, where we have kind of a sort of a guideline list, if you will. But we'll be on stage and somebody will call out a different song, or it's like tonight the vibe kind of feels like this. So instead of doing this one song, we'll do another one. We kind of huddle up and get on stage and just keep it natural and organic like that. There's always some staples in it, of course, that's in the set list. But it's always, somewhat of a little bit of a challenge, but, we work great together. We kind of put it together as a band as a whole. And again, even when we have the set list together, we'll go on stage and we'll still, sometimes we'll just play something else, or something we haven't played in 5 years. Like, hey, let's just play this one tonight. Really? All right, here we go. So it keeps it fun for us, and especially for fans. We have a lot of fans, especially in the States. So sometimes we'll travel to two or three different shows. So you definitely get something a little different every night. So it's not the same. We're not like married to a click and all this program stuff. We're pretty much four guys just plugging and playing.
Well, as someone who's seen Drowning Pool several times over the years, I know there's a lot of different eras of this band. How do you at least attempt to strike a balance between the contributions from Dave, Jason Jones, Ryan, and Jason Moreno's 10 years with the band?
Yeah, it's pretty wild. Ryan's been great with that. We would definitely play songs from different eras and different singers, and that's something that, everyone's kind of had to step in since Dave Williams. And, we pay, respect to Dave Williams, doing a lot of songs at the Center record. But Ryan's been great doing stuff. We do some songs that we have with Jason Gong Jones and some stuff with Jason Moreno. So the Jasons. So, and again, we mix it up, especially per tour or per night. We're always trying to bring something fresh into the set list. If it was me, I like to play them all. I'll sit up stage all night long, 7 hours, and go for it. But we have that time window. We got to fit it all in.
There's only so many songs, right?
Yeah.
Now, before we get to your ultimate concert set list, I'd like to remind listeners that if you like what you're hearing on My Weekly Mixtape, you can help me out by either telling a friend about the show, leaving the show a 5-star review wherever you're tuning in, or by becoming a Patreon mixtaper at patreon.com/My Weekly Mixtape. There you can find ad-free episodes of the show, gain early access to upcoming episodes, chime in on future topics, become a guest curator, and so much more. Once again, patreon.com/My Weekly Mixtape. Now, CJ, even though you're not crafting a Drowning Pool set list tonight, the pressure's still kind of on, because you're now in the audience and you're going to explain to the My Weekly Mixtape listeners the ultimate CJ Pierce concert. 12 songs, 12 different artists. The sky's the limit. So the magical moment hits, the lights cut out, you're in the front row, the energy's through the roof. Who is the first artist or band to take the stage, and what song is opening up your ultimate concert?
Well, I'm gonna go off of because there was Lollapalooza back in like 92, 93, 94. And that left a big impression on me, man. It was all these bands playing. Here's this band called Rage Against the Machine I've never heard of. Tool goes on second, right? So it's like, it's this new, Alice in Chains were headlining. I think Primus was up there at the time as well. So for me, it's the first time I saw Rage and they came out and they played Killing in the Name of, and I was there with my friends, my high school friends, and we just went ape shit crazy nuts, man. It was awesome. So that song, still to this day, just brings the energy. So yeah, some like, the opening band, right? Back in 94. Look at them now, man. Just amazing. Still, bringing the hits. That song gets me going every time, man.
Oh, easily one of my favorite albums of the 90s. And when it comes to heavier music, it's definitely a top 10 for me. I don't think, honestly, you could have rattled off any track from the self-titled Rage Against. You could have said Bomb Track, Freedom, any song, and I would be like, yes, I agree with that. Perfect. Like, what a way to open things up and to get the crowd in the palm of your hand.
Yeah, it's hard to pick one from any of these artists, but yeah, that one just, the attitude in that song is, just that it just drilled it to you, and just the energy, the riffs, man. Just everybody's jumping at every freaking song at every show, man.
All right, so the crowd has that opening number. Where do we go for the second song of the night?
So I went for this song, second song of the night, again, following with, again, some of my first experiences going to concerts and just seeing these amazing bands. And again, the second band on that one, and I'll get away from the structure here, is Tool. And I can pick anything from Tool. I mean, it was the first record when they did that tour. But there's something about the pot. I still love this song. And I'm known for playing guitar, but I play bass. I play a lot of different instruments. And as of late, in between doing stuff with Drowning Pool, my wife and I would go out and just do a couple cover songs at the local bar here. So we just started playing the pot recently. So it's just a fun song to play. All the songs are amazing. Anything from Tool is amazing. But that one, just the technical art to that one. And it's another song that just has this head groove jam to it. Just gets me pumped up.
Have you seen them recently in the last several runs where they do the no phone policy at the shows?
Yeah, I think that's great. I'm all for it.
We saw the 2019 tour, and when the lights went out and the arena was pitch dark, I elbowed my buddy and said, "When's the last time you've seen this?" And he said, "At least 2 decades." And it was such a moment for us.
Yeah, I mean, they put on such a great show. They put a lot of time into the artistry, just the whole backdrop, and it's the experience. So, I mean, nobody likes to be told what to do. And again, I come from the generation that didn't even have these phones at the time, and it's great to capture all that. And the last song, they do say, go ahead and videotape. But I think he did it in the right way where, it's like, look, you came here, you bought the ticket, just enjoy the show. And then after that, you get back on your phone, man. So, I mean, I'm, to each his own, but that's definitely an art type band. And I don't want to miss any of it. So I've seen them on every single tour. We did some shows with them in the past. So, again, another one of those bands where you can just listen to anything and nothing. That's Tool. It's awesome. Like AC/DC could be on the background and it's not a bad song.
100%. Now, when Drowning Pool is out on the road, do you guys have a preference when it comes to cell phones in the crowd?
No, we ask people to pull them out, especially when we play Tear Away. Brian actually has everybody to pull out and put the lights up on their phone. We just got off tour with Godsmack and POD. And it was a lot of awesome shows in Europe and sold out arena shows, and everybody pulls out the phone to put the lighter up instead of like, filming it or whatever. But when you see it's pitch black when we start the song and just see all the lights on from the phones, it's like the old school lighter kind of effect, if you will. So, hey, people here might have a good time, man. Do whatever you want. Watch the show, call your mom. I'm cool.
Putting the cell phone light on is a hell of a lot easier than back in the 80s and 90s when you had the lighter, because, I mean, how many times did you burn your thumb during
so many
a song? I mean, come on.
I put the lighters up and that's it. But so it works and it looks really cool, man. And we got a lot of cool video and shots from that. So I love that aspect of it. We try to, it's a rock show, man. We just all here to have a good time.
Amen. All right. So we have a 1-2 Lollapalooza punch here. Where are we going for track 3?
Track 3. All right. Let me think here. I'm looking through my notes here because, oh man, I love so many freaking bands. All right, so there's another band that I absolutely love, and the first time I saw it, it's Korn. I have a song from Korn. And Korn has so many. Again, I'm all about the intensity in the jam, and they have so many heavy songs. And another band that I've seen on every single album tour. We played with them, but this song, "Alone I Break," that they have, there's something about that song. It's just it's off the beaten path for them, but it's heavy in its own, like, it's got this mid-tempo, like, creepy vibe to it, but it's just intense without the music being just in your face intense. It just gets me like that for some strange reason. It's probably one of their slower songs, but just something about that song, man, it just grabs me. It's just as hard as like everything else that they have that's heavy.
Going with something off of Untouchables is such an interesting pick. It's an underrated Korn album, if you ask me, overall. And
Yeah,
sadly, Alone I Break is just one of those songs that the band, I don't want to say abandoned, but in the beginning, they tried playing it a couple of times live, and then it kind of just dropped off. I'm catching one of the
yeah,
dates at MetLife Stadium in New Jersey this fall with System of a Down.
yeah,
I
nice.
would love to see them brush this off, man. This is such, it makes this set so dynamic.
Right, it's just one of those. It puts you in that mind frame. Like you are here, you're slamming, you're having a great time. They're playing all the bangers, all the jammers, and then it's like just that song just has this vibe. It's still heavy, but just has that vibe to it. Almost like what songs are from Deftones that they play all the time. It's just one of those songs that just sets that just kind of connects everybody a different vibe. And
You
then just
thinking
come
like
back and sing
Digital
them.
Bath here?
Yeah, something like that, man. Like there's a few songs at Deftones that just go off into like this kind of mellow kind of part, and they come back because another band that's super heavy.
Of course. All right. We've got Rage Against the Machine, Tool, Korn. I'm catching a vibe here. Where are we going for track 4?
All right, track 4. We're gonna go straight to heavy on this one, man. I've always been a Slipknot fan.
Nice.
I was definitely we were touring with them once. I was in the pit because at that time early on I was still going out there and getting nuts, and I got totally trampled. Almost couldn't play the show the next day.
Oh,
So then,
man.
everybody's like, dude, you can't be out in the pit for Slipknot. We got to put on a show as well. So that's kind of when I kind of slacked off on jumping out, going crazy in the pit days, if you will. But yeah, dude, Duality. I love all their songs, but that's another one of those songs. Like if I'm getting ready to go out and do something, I want to get pumped up. Even sometimes before we go on stage, man, we'll stick Duality on and just go nuts to that song. So it's a jammer. That's
Oh, it
definitely
is. I've had the chance to catch Slipknot many times over the years, and I'm so glad to have this song in the fold because then I might catch some slack from rabid Slipknot fans here. As much as I love the heaviness of the self-titled and of Iowa, obviously,
yeah. Yeah, let's do
Volume
it.
3 is such a sweet spot for me musically in terms of heft and a melodic side of the band. And I think it's such a balance. And I just love the fact that this was the song choice because it's got all the heft that you expect from Slipknot, but there's
Yeah.
also this, I don't want to say accessibility to it, but it's something that even if you're not a rabid Slipknot fan, I feel like it's a gateway drug that could really bring you
Yeah.
into the world of their music.
Yeah, it's just one of the, another one of those just jamming tunes that just grab me and get you going. No matter who you are, when that comes on, it's just like, wait, like, oh shit, my fingers, it's the only thing that, and then slamming. So it's just great. Is this what I think it is? Yes. I think I'm gonna use this whole set list before we go on stage every night. This is, I like it. I like where we're going. I mean, it's again picking some of my favorite tunes. So
I was going to say, I think you should. And if Drowning Pool ever decides to do a cover songs album, so far, I think this would kick a lot of ass.
yeah, some of these I have covered. I just played "Killing the Name of" with Leo Maracchioli over in we were in Italy this couple of weeks ago in the middle of a tour. We had the one day off from touring with Godsmack, and he was playing in the same town. So I went out to a show and just jumped on stage and played "Killing the Name of" with him.
Awesome.
From what I remember, I know I was pretty lit, but I had a great time with it.
Well, what do we
Yeah.
have now for track 5 coming out of Slipknot?
Come on, Slipknot. I grew up Pantera, friends and family with Dom and Vinny and Rex and Phil, but it was a hard choice to pick a favorite one because, dude, I love all of them. We do cover Cowboys from Hell sometimes. To play Walk, I always stay up on my chops on these songs, but I was thinking long and hard about it. My first time when I really heard the first impression that I had when I first listened to Cowboys from Hell and when Domination came on,
Oh,
just it's just so freaking heavy. It's like the riff is like punching somebody in the face, and then the freaking solo on that thing. I mean, all Dime solos are just genius. But there's something about that Domination, man. That was one of the songs that like I was still learning how to play guitar and getting to my chops. It was one of those things that once I heard that, I'm like, it made you want to put it down and be like, all right, you got it, man. Kings of Metal, you won.
without a doubt.
But it's an influence, man.
I could definitely hear that. And I want to bring up a memory of Drowning Pool that I have. And I'm going to go all the way back to 2001 on the Ozfest tour. I was at the Homedale, New Jersey show at the PNC Bank Arts Center, which
Yeah.
around here when people mention 2001 Ozfest, it's infamous because it was the Papa Roach mud throwing incident.
Right.
On that same day, I caught former guest on the show, Brian Scott of Union Underground. Obviously, Drowning Pool was on that bill, Mudvayne. It was like a who's who of the new metal scene that year. And I don't know if it was the entire band, but during Union Underground's set, I know Dave came out because he was wearing a Texas flag wrapped around it. I'm not sure if you did as well, but there was definitely a Drowning Pool and Union Underground collaboration of Cowboys from Hell. Can you kind of talk about how all that came together?
Yeah, that whole tour, man, that whole time was great. I remember PNC specifically as well, man. That place is awesome. Yeah, Dave, Dave's, Dave Stage was his nickname. Like, he always jumped up on stage with just about everybody because he just loved to sing, man. He was all about it. And yeah, Union Underground, that's about as much the South Texas, we're Dallas, and then down, Houston, San Antonio area. So friends and family for life, dude. These guys are still rocking out. But yeah, Dave was like that, man. We always wound up, especially that tour, it was so wild. We'd all jump on each other's stage and play a song with each other. Same thing with, Elias and Non-Point. We've done stuff with them as well, the same kind of stuff. So it's just awesome to have that band camaraderie, if you will, with all these bands. And still to this day, I just saw them not that long ago. Underground came through Dallas. So
yeah, I feel like the bands that came out of the early 2000s are very much a community. I really feel like there's a lot of love and a lot of respect between all the bands, especially coming from even something very close to home for you in Drowning Pool, is the fact that Ryan is able to balance his work with Soil as well as Drowning Pool.
Yeah, man, it's been a while, 2 years for us, for all bands. And we're all friends and family like that. Again, there was in between us touring after Ryan was with us for a year, Soul did a tour and it came through Dallas. And it was fun for me because I wasn't playing that night. I just got to sit back and drink and watch the show, And they did a kick-ass show. I love Ryan's voice and Soil. They do their style of thing, and we do our style in Drowning Pool. But you're right. It's like a family and friend vibe. It's the same thing we just had with Godsmack and POD. And I love that it's like that, man. Everybody gets along, from the crew to the band to just the whole production. So put on a rock show.
Exactly. And we are at the halfway point of your ultimate concert. What is track 6 here?
Track 6, not to go back to the Lollapalooza thing, is even before that. There's a place I grew up in New Orleans, and it's a place called Tipitina's that I saw a lot of bands in the 90s. That was kind of like the place to play. And I went and saw Primus with a friend of mine before they had blown up. I mean, literally the same thing with Korn. I saw Korn there when there was like 50 people. Who is this band? Or, who is Primus? And
I have to interrupt for 1 second because man. I remember, people don't believe this when I tell them this story, but my buddy went to Maxwell's in Hoboken to catch Korn and Sugar Ray on a dual bill in the early 90s because Sugar Ray's first album, Lemonade and Brownies, was much more in line with new metal and the rap rock sound that Korn was doing at the time. And the bill made sense on paper. When I tell people about that show now, they look at me, they go, there's no way Sugar Ray and Korn toured together. I said, oh yeah.
yeah, listen to the older stuff. So he was always cool, man. I hung out with him a while ago in LA, but again, I don't know what he's up to now, but all good peeps, again, family and friends vibe. But yeah, dude, that just Primus, just a whole nother sound at nuts. And just that song, especially, Jerry's Race Guitar, just that riff in that, man, that slamming. It's heavy as can be, but it's still got the funk groove to it. And of course, Les Claypool with his wacky tone, man, just makes it fun music. But dude, sick talented guys, though.
When I talk about favorite bass players on the planet, my brain goes to Les Claypool, it goes to Billy Sheehan, it goes to Flea. But the magic and energy that Les brings to his performances, whether it's Primus, the Flying Frog Brigade, Oysterhead, or even his solo stuff, it's instantly recognizable. When you hear his bass, the tone, the sound, and then obviously his voice. It's so unique, and the only way to describe it is it's Les. It's Les. It's
Les. It's unique and original. It's amazing music art, if you will. The way he plays, man.
Couldn't agree more. And when I tell people like, oh, Primus, and they go, no, I'm not, I don't really know a lot of Primus. As soon as I put on Jerry Was a Race Car Driver and you hear the opening bass line, they're like, oh, I know that song.
Yeah. Dude, sick line too. Sick bass line. If I can read off the phone, I'm going to pick up the bass and rock out on it just because I have it in a minute.
Grab it and just start jamming now.
Grab it, start jamming now, right? I know I have this bad habit like that. Right before I left for just I went to grab a couple things from the guitar center, and I bought a guitar, I got a Gretsch, and then same thing when I just got back home because I got 2 small guitars for the kids. I'm just gonna buy some straps, but they had this fat ass bass, bro. So I had this Epiphone acoustic bass, so I got that. Because I love
Nice.
playing bass as well. Again, we just play everything up in the house, man. My house is like looks like Guitar Center, really. It's the home studio, and then the garage is the studio. So, but all things music, man. That's my life.
Exactly. All right. Well, we're officially starting the second half of your ultimate concert here. So
Right.
let's say we had an intermission, if you will. Where would we go for the second half of the night?
So I'm sticking with again all the songs that influenced me and just have these jamming vibes and jamming riffs in it. Another band, that's going to be going out again if they're not already out. A band called Snot.
Yes.
And dude, that record, Jesus, it's a great story. So we're still a local band, early '90s, late '90s, whatever. And we had a van we toured in, and there was Dave Williams, man. He had this cassette tape, this non-cassette tape. It's like, you got it. We're getting ready to do a road trip to go play in Oklahoma, and it's like, you got to hear this. Guys, we get in the van, and he pops the tape in, and he plays "Stupid" from Snot, and it's like just that jamming riff on it, man. We're just all in a van jamming on the way to go play a show, local band heroes going to Oklahoma.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But I'll never forget that vibe and that energy that they bring to the table, and hearing it the first time because Dave had the cassette.
I've seen footage of Snot's recent shows with Andy Knapp on vocals, and obviously nobody is ever going to replace Lynn Straight, and nobody expects anybody to.
No,
but I was
man.
kind of blown away by the energy and passion he's bringing to these performances. And Snot sounds completely reinvigorated on this run. I can't wait for them to get to the East Coast.
Yeah. I want to see a set myself, man, because it's just another band I didn't get to see, but big influence and great songs. I mean,
maybe a Snot and Drowning Pool tour would be pretty killer.
Yeah. I'm going to make some calls when I go to the phone with you. That sounds awesome.
As long as it could be like, promoted by My Weekly Mixtape.
Oh, yeah, man. I'll wear the shirt and everything.
There you go. All right. Track 8. Where are we going from Snot?
Track 8, this is a song that I kind of rediscovered not that long ago. Every now and then when we do like short runs, like a 2-week run, a weekend run, we'll just take the van out. I like driving the van. I still like keeping it old school. I mean, we did big tours. We're very fortunate to be in the tour bus. I'm grateful and thankful that we're there. But I still like driving, man. And it gives me like playing shows and driving to the next venue. I stay up at night and I listen to whole catalogs of bands. It's like my time to really get to listen and re-listen. Because like pretty much all day set up, play the show, I'm just doing my own thing. So in that process, man, this band came on. I forgot, it's Jimmy's Chicken Shack, and a song called High. And I forgot, it popped up on just out of nowhere a few months ago. And it's just again, another jamming riff that I think, it's early new metal-ish style before that became the name and the style, if you will. I think that's kind of early inception. But that song, man, it just has some kind of another one of those just slamming songs that just get you bouncing. Yeah, I was listening to it. It's another thing, it came on. I was like, I haven't heard this forever. I played like 3 or 4 times in a row. You play your favorite songs just over and over again, man. So I'm just going down the highway 3 o'clock in the morning. Everybody's trying to sleep, and I'm just jamming out.
I'm not going to lie, dude. I'm so glad you brought up Jimmy's Chicken Shack because they're based out of Maryland. So being from New Jersey, this was kind of like a second home for them. So we got to kind of see the rise of Jimmy's Chicken Shack through the 90s. And they're so underrated. I feel like so many people should know who this group is. So to have this brought out tonight is such a refreshing thing to hear.
Yeah, man, that's another one of those groups that is just amazing. Some fall between the cracks, just don't get that recognition, like you're saying, man. But that's one of them that's sick.
I'd say a double dose of underrated bands between Snot and Jimmy's Chicken Shack to start side B.
Right.
So where do we go from here?
From here, we're gonna go to a mainstream thing because again, just going with the intensity and just amount of show. And, it's another band. I mean, we all know it's Metallica, and, they're another Kings in Metal. And, back when I first heard Master Puppets, it's like it was a friend of mine, and he was just, it's high school's lunchtime, and he's got the cassette thing and he's jamming out. I'm like, what is that? He's like, this band called Metallica. You got to check this out. So he let me borrow the cassette tape, and just, it opens up with Battery and just, pretty acoustic guitar, and you're thinking, oh man, this is some cool stuff, and then just pow in your face, just all triplets, galloping riffs. I'm like, holy shit, what just happened to my life? So it was one of those life-changing moments that you just never forget. So that's one of the songs, just again, millions of Metallica, dude, so many great Metallica songs, and probably like all of us artists feel better songs since then. But that was like my first impression, the first thing I ever heard from them. But yeah, man, to hear that live, it's freaking sick. That's one of my favorites.
Metallica is a top band for me. I've seen them so many times. When you talk about bands that just know how to open an album with authority, I mean, let's just look at the 5 first albums, because anytime you go past the
Yeah.
Black Album, people love to run their mouths. But Hit
Right.
the Lights from Kill 'Em All, Fight Fire with
Right.
Fire from Ride the Lightning. You
Right.
just
Five.
mentioned Battery from Master of Puppets, Blackened from Injustice for All, and
Yeah.
Enter Sandman from the Black Album. Home
Yeah.
run after home run after home run
Yeah.
after.
Everyone knows.
And then I'll jump even into the later albums. I'll just say it. Frantic is the best song on Saint Anger.
Right. We were talking about that the other day. We were actually listening to it. Just going over, again, when we have some time, and I love this with our band, like some dressing room time, which is rare to have some time. We'll get on a subject like that and just put a whole record on and just listen to it. So, because right now we'll be back in writing mode. We're gonna record it. Try to get the rest of the songs done for a new album with Brian. So that's what I've been doing since I got home. In the next couple of weeks, just write mode and listening to songs get influence and do our own thing, man. So Metallica is definitely always an influence for all of us, man.
Of course, of course. So where are we going out of Battery?
So I'm gonna go with this one because this is another song dude, this band, another underrated band, big time. Head PE, man. They have a
Oh,
lot of great songs, but Renegade, there's something about that song. Again, another song that just gets me pumped, man. That's like, I love that song when they play it live. Funny story. So again, my lady and I were getting ready. This was years ago when we first started seeing each other, and she puts on Renegade because they were getting ready to play here in Dallas like the next week, and she we're still getting to know each other. She's like, "Would you go see this band called Head PE with me?" I'm like, "You love Head PE? I love Head PE." It's like I know Head PE. We play with Head PE. So that's like that's how like when you get ready to go out, that's the jam I put on in the car when I take off the house. No matter what show I'm going to, we listen to Renegade first. And I love Head PE, man. They're definitely one of my top bands.
Oh, they're incredible. I can't picture a Head PE show without the 1-2 punch of Bartender and Renegade closing out a set.
Yeah.
So, and now, if I'm not mistaken, you're going to get a little bit of extra time with Head PE this fall because you're going out with them and Spineshank over in the UK, correct?
Yeah, I was just talking to Jared the other day about that. We just all that stuff's obviously solidified now. But we did a little bit of touring together with Saliva. No, it wasn't Saliva. Sorry, it was El Nino and a few other bands a couple years ago. And again, they were on tour with us for a little bit. And I just love those dudes, man. They let me come out and play a couple songs on their set. I guess it's just a drownable thing. I don't know, man. But I made my way out to their set and and played Renegade with them. So but yeah, man, they just kill it, dude. I love it. It's a band. The cool thing about touring is it's like I get to be at a free Head PE show if they're on tour with us every night. I get to watch them play every night on top of me playing my set. So yeah, I'm excited as hell to be touring with them again, dude. They put on a killer show. So much energy.
Fantastic. Well, we are getting close to the end of the set here. We're nearing the finale. We got 2 songs left. We could call one the set closer and then track 12 the encore. Where do we go for track 11?
I'm gonna go to these again, recently influenced, but we've been friends for 25 plus years, man. And I'm going with POD Southtown because that song
Nice.
is jamming. I love all those dudes. Sonny's great, Marcus is great, freaking Trey, like all those dudes, and the drummers act they have now, man, powerhouse. So great dudes, great friends, but their set has a vibe to it. But something about Southtown, man, whenever that song comes on, dude, I'm just like stomping on the floor. Just anything that's around me is gonna just get hit, man. I'm in the Southtown. So great dudes. They put on, dude, they have hits for days too, man. I think another band that's probably a little bit underrated as well.
Oh God, yeah. Even their greatest hits album, when you look at it, you're like, every single one of these songs was an absolute smash, but you don't think about POD as one of those big chart-topping bands, but that whole run between Southtown and Alive and that those 2 album cycles, they were kind of on top of the world for a while there.
Yeah, man, they got tons of hits, and I'm hoping to do some more stuff with them. That was great to do that run with them and catch up, and just again get to watch their show every night for free because I'm playing with them.
See, so not only are you in a band, you're also a fan, and that's where the love
it.
of this comes in. That's where the community of music comes into play here.
Yeah, that's what it's all about, man. I love being at a rock show, and like I'm saying, like whenever I have a day off on tour, I'll go find somebody playing somewhere. Ryan always makes fun of me that my band guys are like, "Dude, we did 6 shows in a row, day off. What? It doesn't matter how many, whatever. It's the day off. I'm gonna go find a club. There's somebody playing somewhere, man. I just love being at the show."
So I have to ask before we reveal the last song, there's a definite vibe to your ultimate concert. Would there be any genres of music that people would be shocked to learn that you're also a fan of?
I'm a huge Fleetwood Mac fan.
Nice.
We played a lot of songs just around the house. Again, I got a couple kids and we all played music together, family, Partridge Family over here. But, I love a lot of 60s, 70s stuff. I've always been a Led Zeppelin fan. Who's not a Led Zeppelin fan? Yeah, it's still rock and roll themed, if you will. But, I grew up in New Orleans with jazz and blues. So
Mhm.
I still love that. And I definitely get into, we get into these kicks like Amy Winehouse is
Oh,
amazing. Like, and I love Motown and my uncle was really big into, jazz and Motown stuff. So we'll go off into that zone at the house. People probably don't obviously know that. That's why we're discussing it. But yeah, I get into all that, man. I mean, my heart's in metal and rock and roll and the intensity, but I listen to everything, dude. And I'm open to all styles of music. And even the newer stuff. I'm not I, there's not a lot of newer bands on here, but the new stuff that's out now too, man, they're still killing it, bringing the metal. So
all right. Well, we are down to your last song of the night. This is the encore. This is the closer. What are we going to close things out with?
I'm gonna close it out again because I've been seeing this recently, and it's amazing. All the love and respect to Sully from Godsmack because they still bring. I mean, dude, their show is amazing. They bring the full rock show. It takes you on a journey. The lights were amazing. The screen was amazing. The whole introductory coming into it, like Sully put a lot of thought and time into this set. If you haven't seen it recently, and they end, they ended with "I Stand Alone," and just everybody's singing along. I'm at the end of the night, I'm watching the show every night. I kind of walk out with the crowd, hang out, talk to people at the merch, and we're just all singing it. So it's just thrilling to have, man. It's a good closer song just because I've got to see it every night. Again, it's just a standard kick-ass rock song from Sully and the Boys.
So I have to ask, did you guys like nickname this tour the Scorpion King Tour? Because if you look at that soundtrack, it
Yeah.
kicks off with I Stand Alone, then it's POD's Tweaker remix of Set It Off, and
Right.
then Break You by
Or
Drowning
I break you,
Pool.
yeah. That's wild. I think of it like that. Again, all of us being together, coming from that era and touring together again. I would love to play "Break You," throw that in the set list because we haven't ever actually played it. But we have an anniversary tour coming up next year, and we want to do a lot of fun stuff. Oh, but I didn't just leak that out the bag. Just scratch what I just said. You didn't hear that,
I was
but
going to say, well, I'm going to dig into that in a little bit because I still have some
yeah,
more questions for you.
yeah,
But
we'll dig into that.
first, there you have it, folks. CJ Pierce's ultimate concert set list, which, as a reminder, kicked off with Rage Against the Machine's Killing in the Name, Tool's The Pot, Korn's Alone I Break, Slipknot's Duality, Pantera's Domination, Primus's Jerry Was a Race Car Driver, Snot's Stupid, Jimmy Chicken Shack's High, Metallica's Battery, Head PE's Renegade, POD's Southtown, and Godsmack's I Stand Alone. And remember, you could hear a playlist featuring all of these songs over on the episode page at myweeklymixtape.com. So now we have to talk some Drowning Pool here, man.
Yeah, brother.
So I guess the best place to start would be right here in the present and the band's latest single, Madness. And along with that track, there's also the one that you guys released towards the end of 2024, which is Revolution, the Final Amen. Let's hear a clip of that as well. you had mentioned earlier that you guys are kind of in the recording process for the next Drowning Pool album. Where do these songs kind of fit into that mold?
We're going balls to wall jamming, man. The excitement of having Ryan back, I think that comes through in the music. That's, where Revolution, started. He came here the first time he came back. It was like 2 years ago. And I have like a gazebo set up in the backyard. I just sat out there, actually with an acoustic, thinking we're going to just sit out and jam. And I just started rocking out hard on it. It doesn't matter what instrument you have. I love get on acoustic and rocking hard anyway. It's not, the acoustic doesn't have to just be for, soft, pretty songs.
Hey, there's an MTV Unplugged for a reason. Maybe a Drowning
Right.
Pool Unplugged set would kick some
Dude,
ass.
I would love to do that, man. We did an acoustic set last year in Poland. We did 8 shows for the troops, and we did a 17-song acoustic set. But it was jamming, man. I actually had a little distortion on the acoustic anyway. It's supposed to be an acoustic set, but I don't know. Some songs come across heavier on the acoustic when you're banging on it. At least for me, they sounded like that. I would love to do that. I love doing an acoustic record and some kind of acoustic tour. But yeah, that's all good things, man. I'm gonna put that. We're gonna write that down, and I'll try to make that happen as well. But yeah, we have a lot of material. Every time we get together, there's been a lot of stuff on the plate. It just we haven't had time to finish putting them together, if you will. So we have a lot of songs that are pretty much like 90% done. Just the final touches before we go record them. No, it's been great, dude. It's like we didn't skip a beat with Ryan. Like he's been easy to write with. All of us, on fire again to have Ryan back in the band after 12, 13 years. And he'll be here in 2 more weeks. And we're going to just get in a room and just start knocking these out. And it's going to stay after. And then 2 weeks after that, we're going to go record. So it's been great, dude. We just, we play what we feel. We write what we feel, man. And right now, like the set list, everything's been really intense and just awesome. We've been touring pretty strong the last 2 years. And just that feeling, the vibe from the fans, get off stage, especially after playing bodies. And there's been a lot of times on tour, like I'm still jacked up. It's get the guitar and write some kind of cool riff. So now I'm at the point where I can just sit here and I'm gonna turn this on after we get done and put them together, man. Make it happen.
Well, you said something earlier that I'm now going to harp on because it wouldn't be very news-like of me if I didn't. But next year, 2026, marks the 30th anniversary of Drowning Pool.
Don't date me too much. It's 25.
You guys formed in 96, right?
We formed in 96, but it's a 30, you're right. It's 30-year anniversary of the band, but the center record came out in 2001. So
yes, of course.
25 center, but you're right. Yeah, my knees hurt when you said that. What year is this? Where did the time go, man? I must have been drinking a lot in the middle of my life. It's blacked out for 10 years.
Okay, so then we'll go with 25. We'll go with the 25th anniversary of Sinner.
Of the center, right, yeah.
Does the band have anything in the works to mark the occasion?
We have a lot of stuff in the works and a lot of things that we're working towards now. Things that, we're still putting together. A lot of amazing ideas. We want to do everything and anything first and foremost. So hats off to Dave Williams, who is just a part of the making of the center record and, kind of the foundation of our sound that, with Bodies. So we have a lot of stuff, man. I have a lot of, I went to storage when I had some time off, cleaned out some stuff, and I have a lot of music and cassette tapes and stuff we did that we didn't finish, we have a lot of songs with Dave that just were not recorded professionally, if you will. So, we've been talks about maybe getting some of those songs to put them out there because you can get his voice off the cassette tape now with all this cool, fun technology. Still his voice, not this AI stuff. But we have songs, a few of them that we would like to finish. There's songs that we haven't played live. I don't think we played the game. Break You is another one that we did. So all things Dave Williams, man. We want to make the show all about that. And again, it's just fun. I haven't gone through everything yet, but I found a lot of video and a lot of music that we just never got around to putting out yet. We were in super writing mode before we even did the center record.
Any chance that there's maybe a 25th anniversary, maybe deluxe release of Sinner?
Yeah, definitely, man. That's definitely going to be that. With all this stuff on it, just kind of narrow down to what we want to put on it. I want to put everything out, especially the video. I have so much video back then. There's like the high 8 cameras came out, and we did a lot of stuff locally right before we got signed. We did some touring. Actually, with Head PE, we got to open up for them here locally. Same thing with Seven Dust and with Kitty. Love Kitty. Love that band. And so I have a lot of stuff, as long as they're cool with it, just to get it out there. Just us raw, all that stuff, kind of pre-center days, if you will, on the local scene. We did the big local show with Chaz here in town. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff that we have to put out there.
Some soundboards from some live shows from that touring cycle?
Yeah, there's definitely video that I have that we haven't released, and Mike and Stevie as well. So I want to get all that out, have a big package with that. But the fun, the exciting stuff is just there's a handful of songs that I think we can probably either just clean off, keep it how it is on a cassette tape, or we can, us three, Mike, Stevie, and myself, can redo the music and put the vocal on top to kind of polish it up. But I'm cool either
Amazing.
way. It's just fun. We did some a handful of cover songs too. We did Day Tripper from the Beatles, and I have that on as well, recorded that nobody's ever heard. That was fun just hearing Dave do it.
Oh,
So
wow.
a lot of material. Yeah, there's a lot of
I
stuff to
gotta
pick through.
hear that, man. You
Yeah, it was
got
heavy, man. I had like the low octave on it. I forgot we even did it until I heard the tape. So, and there's also like earlier versions of like Bodies and Tearaway that are a little different. I think some of that might be out there, some of the old Emerald versions. But if not, I still have those. Just stuff for like the hardcore fans, man. And anything. We have stuff that's still signed from Dave Williams in storage. A handful of things that I like to, but it's gonna sit in storage and collect dust, man. Like, I like to get that out to the hardcore fans. So we have a bunch of posters that are still signed and some of the older CDs and stuff too, man.
Now, I'm not sure if this is a Mandela effect thing for me going on here, but I do want to
The
ask you.
Bernstein's
I
theirs.
remember before Bodies really exploded, back in my radio days, hearing versions of Tearaway and Bodies and maybe even Sinner, but they weren't the finished versions on the final album. Did you guys record other versions of these songs prior to the major label debut?
Bodies and Tear Away for sure, but Center, we finished that up actually with Jay Baumgartner there at NRG Studios. So that was the one that was finished. We had the riff from before. I don't know if we had put something out because there was something similar to that riff. I'm trying to remember now. And I'm picking my own brain here, but the song itself wasn't done until we were there. There was 4 songs that we completed in the pre-production. That was one of them. That ironically our shortest song as well. But a fun song to play, man. And that's another song. That's another thing I do at the house. Like I have alternate versions. I have like 10 other versions of Bodies. A lot of people do covers of it and have fun with it. But because I wrote the song, so like I have like a mandolin version. I have like this Justin Timberlake kind of dance version. Just again, sit around my house having fun. I don't know how many other musicians do this or not, but I still sit here at my house and play my songs because I like them. I wrote them. So I just have alternate versions of that. And it's the same thing with Sinner lately. I have this like kind of a Rage Against the Machines kind of funky version of Sinner that I keep doing. In fact, I messed Ryan up one show. I was doing it on the bus right before we went on stage, and he was getting into the groove with me. So he had this head groove, and that's just a different delivery and sway. It's like, oh shit, he's fucking me up. So he had to we're like, get ready to go on stage. Like he had to listen to it real quick to get his head back into the game. He's like, don't ever do that to me again. I get on a reggae kick every now and then. I have like 37 stitches. I can pretty much reggae any one of our songs, like reggae metal, because it's another thing I'm a big fan of. But I was on a kick. It was the last summer or something. I was just on a beachy kick, man. And I was just every song I was throwing reggae vibe to him. Works
Well,
good
if
for
you ever
37
tour with
stitches.
Skindred, I would want to see that for sure.
I would do a reggae Drown Pool set right now with Skindred. I would pick my guitar up and do it on the fly, man. I
That would
love
be
Skindred.
incredible. So we talked about your personal ultimate concert tonight, but I want to put a spin on that in the Drowning Pool universe. So if you had a chance to create a top 5 personal Drowning Pool set list,
Oh man.
meaning you don't have to worry
Yeah.
about the hits and the fan favorites. This is purely your set list to pick, and you could pick 5 songs from across Drowning Pool's catalog. Which 5 would you pick?
Jesus, man. That's I wasn't prepared for that.
I
It's
know
a
I got to
hard-
throw out the hard questions every
It's
now and
like-
then.
It's a hard one because I do love them all. I mean, there's not one that I don't like. I'm trying to think of ones, you know. I know there's a few that I would like to play here. Let me just go here. Hell to Pay off of Hallelujah is one of them. I love that song. I would love to play that one. We did Let the Sin Begin a few times. That's a fun song to play. King Zero, definitely off the self-titled record. King Zero is like, we almost get to play it, and then it almost makes a set list, but it hasn't. Full Circle too. I
Oh.
love that song off the Full Circle record. It just opens up all jamming. Is that 5?
That would be 4. You got one more.
Shit, man, this is hard. Dude, this is so hard. This life off of Desensitized too, man. That one really hits home for me. And I still sit around the house and just another song that, I sit and play and just do it because I just like the song, man.
Well, I'm going to throw out one if you guys are ever taking requests. I
Yeah.
don't know if it's been in the set list for a while, but it's one that I've always been a huge fan of, actually from Desensitized, and it's Numb. That
Yeah,
song to
Numb.
me
Yeah.
is such a friggin' jam. I've always wondered why that kind of hasn't stuck through the years, but obviously there's only so much time you have on stage.
Right. Thanks for saying that. There's Bill Xavier that's the own BC Rich guitars. That's another one of the song he says a lot. Numb is one of his favorite ones. And I love that song. That's come up a few times from other people. I guess that's a good deep track, but it just had that head groove to it, man. Like the song is playing in my head right now as we speak. In fact, I'm gonna, you know, I'll push that one for the next tour. I'm gonna push it because,
Oh yeah.
you
All
know,
right.
again, it's hard to pick. Again, we love them all, man, and there's only so much time you can play, but we do mix it up, and I'm gonna bring those up for sure. I'll bring them up, or we do special when we play in Jersey.
There you go. Perfect. Now, you mentioned a big tour for next year. How much am I allowed to pick at that? How much could you spill?
You can tell me what your dream setup would be. I mean, it's as a few other bands having their anniversaries, but you know, for us, it's a big deal. 25-year anniversary for Center, and you know, I would just want to do it right by Dave. So this year we're doing a lot of stuff overseas. We kind of, you know, taking a break in the States. We hit it pretty hard last year, so we'll start out in the States and do a whole run. I mean, for me, I'd like to have a lot of the bands that aforementioned in my set list, or bands, you know, around that era, 2001, 2002 Ozfest would be great to join forces and just have like a big new metal thing with bands with anniversary records. That's what I would like to do, and not saying that that's what's happening. But you go. What would you like to see?
Oh, dude, I that 2001 Ozfest to me was such a monumental show. When you look back at the new metal era and you think about all the bands, what the Osbournes were able to put together on that day, when you look back at that lineup from start to finish.
Yeah, it's a great lineup, man.
So why not just run that back, man?
Yeah, let's have a 2001 redo, man. 226, man. I would play. You know, when we started the tour, we were going on first at the time.
Yes.
And Vitus took off, and you know, it was up. Sharon is the one that kind of moved us up in the set list, which, you know, Dave and I went to every single band that you know, we had superseded and said, hey, look, you know, that's Sharon, it's not us, because you know, we felt I appreciated her doing that, and the song did take off, and I guess it made sense with the whole of the time to play later in the day. But yeah, it was just awesome to be there, man. We're just thankful to be on this tour, and I'd gladly open up the show. Like, I'm not too big for my britches. Like, I'll go on first, I'll go on last, man. We're easy. I'm still gonna get on stage and play my songs and have a great time doing it. So, but yes, that lineup, I would love that, to do that as like a tour. So let's call Danny Wimmer. Let's make this happen.
All right. I'll get involved, dude. I'll help out. Anything you need. You just say the word.
Yeah, let's get in touch with all these bands. Let's do this. That would be a dream show, really, for us and the bands, and I'm sure for all the fans as well, man.
I completely agree. Now, I'm sure you've gotten this many times over the years, but I'd like to close with my own personal drowning pool story, if that's okay with you, because this is a story that involves the band, but none of you were there. 20 years ago, I got to marry the love of my life, and my cousin put together the best bachelor party that I could have ever asked for. And he rented out an entire Italian restaurant and shut it down. And he had the square table, or the, you know, rectangular table, and everything was set up to be like, I don't want to call it mafia style, but you know, it was a well done, put together Italian restaurant.
Nice.
And then we went and did the other festivities for the evening. But the part that sticks with everybody on that bus, because my cousin rented a party bus, and before we left, they said, oh, dude, there's a CD player on the bus. Now, being the nerd I am, I'm always burning CDs. So I went to my car, grabbed my quote unquote hype up mix, and brought it out.
Right on.
And the first song on that was Bodies. And the one thing that if you ask anybody that attended my bachelor party, from my father to my father-in-law to all my friends, and there's sadly some people who are no longer with us that night, was Bodies on the party bus. That's
awesome,
all
man.
you have to say. So between that, I want to thank you and the band for one of the most fondest memories of my life with a lot of people I love dearly. That music was a soundtrack to it. I also want to thank you for the 25, I'll stop at 25 years of incredible drowning pool music. And most importantly, I want to thank you for being a part of my weekly mixtape tonight.
Yeah, man. Thank you for having me, dude. This is awesome. I can't wait to catch more of your shows.
And to all those listening, remember, you can find my weekly mixtape on almost all the social media haunts at My Weekly Mixtape. You can also head to myweeklymixtape.com to check out the full catalog of My Weekly Mixtape episodes. And finally, if you like what you're hearing on the show, you can help me out by either telling a friend, leaving the show a 5-star review wherever you're tuning in, or by becoming a Patreon mixtaper at patreon.com/My Weekly Mixtape. There you can find ad-free episodes of the show, gain early access to upcoming episodes, chime in on future topics, become a guest curator, and so much more. That's all for this week. Thanks again for listening, and until next time, enjoy the tunes.